NATO, founded in 1949, was sold as a defensive alliance against the Soviet Union. But its true purpose was to solidify American dominance in Europe. Today, NATO is a relic, fueling wars, enriching the military-industrial complex, and destabilizing regions under the guise of defense. It's time to question why it still exists. NATO's creation framed the Soviet Union as the aggressor, ignoring its sacrifices in World War II. The Red Army broke Hitler's war machine, yet NATO's narrative painted the USSR as the enemy. Even Winston Churchill in 1944 suggested invading the Soviet Union post-war, a plan the US rejected, not out of morality, but exhaustion from war. After the Cold War, NATO promised not to expand eastward. Yet it absorbed former Warsaw Pact nations and ex-Soviet states, provoking Russia. The inclusion of Ukraine in NATO's orbit escalated tensions, leading to the current conflict. The US operates over 750 military bases worldwide, using NATO to project power. If war breaks out, it will be fought on European soil, not American. Europe is a pawn in America's geopolitical game. The US and NATO's support for Ukraine isn't about democracy. It's about securing a military foothold on Russia's doorstep. If the US truly cared, it would have prevented the war, not fueled it with billions in military aid. Over 1.2 million lives have been lost, yet NATO profits from the conflict. The military-industrial complex thrives, while taxpayers foot the bill. The US portrays Russia and China as existential threats, but this is a fabrication. Russia has no intention of invading the US, nor does China. The real threat is NATO's endless wars and instability. Russia has historically acted defensively, repelling invasions from Napoleon to Hitler. Its actions in Ukraine are a response to NATO's expansion, not unprovoked aggression. NATO exists to enrich the military-industrial complex and maintain American dominance. The US has destabilized over 140 countries since World War II, while Russia has largely defended its borders. Yet NATO paints Russia as the aggressor, perpetuating a cycle of conflict that benefits only the ultra-rich. NATO is no longer a defensive alliance but a tool for war profiteering. The world doesn't need more wars or military bases. It needs cooperation and diplomacy. By dismantling NATO, we can redirect resources toward peace and justice. It's time to stop sacrificing lives for the benefit of the few. NATO must end. The future depends on our ability to seek understanding rather than division. We must nurture dialogue and coexistence to prevent history from repeating itself. Together, we can build a world where cooperation replaces conflict. Education and diplomacy must be our primary tools for fostering global stability. Art and culture can bridge divides, fostering understanding and empathy among nations. Every act of kindness contributes to breaking the cycle of violence and building trust. Facing global challenges like climate change requires collaboration beyond military alliances. True security lies in our ability to create inclusive and resilient societies. The choices we make today will shape the world for generations to come. By investing in community and creativity, we can turn the tide towards a brighter future.